Hello YouTube, this is a quick comparison between the LG G2 on the left hand side and the brand new HTC One M8 from HTC. It just released a few days ago. Let's get through to these phones quickly. This is the LG G2. It comes with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 800 backed up by 2 GB of RAM. Beautiful looking phone. It's all a plastic construction. The power button and the volume rocker is at the back of the phone, along with the camera and an LED flash. Then you have the micro USB port right at the bottom, and you have the 3.5mm jack just next to it, along with the speakers. Beautiful screen on the G2. It's a 5.2-inch screen. One of the best edge-to-edge display screens I have seen so far on any phone. This is one area where I think LG have done a really good job. They have hardly got any bezels on the phone, as you can see on the video, and it's almost nearly edge-to-edge. And the way they have been able to put the screen in a small body like that is amazing. I mean, if I put it next to the HTC One, you can see the HTC One is actually taller than the LG G2, even though the screen size on the G2 is 5.2 inches and the one on the HTC One M8 is 5 inches. Despite of the fact that HTC One is smaller in screen size, still it is taller than the G2. Obviously we can't discount the boom speakers. They sound awesome, and that's why the HTC has taken space at the bottom and at the top. And that's why the extra bezels that you can see, and which makes the phone a bit more taller than the G2. Anyways, quickly back to comparison again. Let's have a quick look at the HTC One M8. A beautiful metal brushed aluminium construction. This is the gunmetal grey version of the HTC One M8. It's a beautiful looking phone. I mean, I can't really complain when it comes to build quality. This is one of the best looking phone I have seen in a long time, and the amount of effort that HTC has put in just to make sure that they had a brilliant looking phone with this metal finish is just simply amazing. When I had the HTC One M7 from last year, I really thought that HTC will not be able to even better themselves next year, but they have shocked me and the rest of the world. And as you can see, this phone is lovely. It's beautiful brushed aluminium finish. It's a little bit slippery, but it's not too bad. It still holds firmly in your hand. If you're indoors and if you've got a bit of sweat on your hand, then the sweat actually stops the metal from slipping off your hands. Whereas if you are outside and your hands are dried up, then there's more of a chance that the phone is going to be a bit more slipperier than normal. Anyway, so yeah, the phone comes with Qualcomm Snapdragon 801 chipset clocked at 2.3 gigs, backed up by 2 gig of RAM. You have on top of the phone the IR blaster. This time around they have done a beautiful job by putting this plastic strip running all the way from left to right. As you can see, there's a power button on the right hand side, and the plastic metal the plastic strip running all the way across from left to right, which is the IR blaster. Then on the right hand side you have the volume rocker, and this is the SD card slot, which is a very welcome addition to this year's M8. Last year M7 had no SD card slot and a lot of people complained, but this time around HTC have managed to put an SD card in, which is a very welcome addition. Then on the right hand side excuse me, you have this micro SIM slot, sorry, the nano SIM slot. This phone takes the nano SIM. This is only one of the few phones which takes nano SIM. The iPhone 5s and the 5 also takes nano SIM. Also, I think the Lumia 1520 also takes the nano SIM. Yeah, there are only a handful of sets out in the market which take nano SIM. Anyways, yeah, so you have the micro USB port at the bottom, along with the 3.5mm jack. And then at the back you have two cameras. In fact, it's not two cameras. The one underneath is the same 4.1 ultra pixel camera from last year, and you have this on top, a depth field sensor. It actually calculates the distance from the objects while you're taking a picture, so that you can use features like U focus and foregrounder. So it's basically a sensor, not a camera, a depth of field sensor. I can do a separate video and explain to you what this is, but for now what I can tell you is this is not a camera. This is a sensor, a lens sensor, which calculates the depth of field information in a photo. Then you have, this time around, 2 LED flashes in the camera. Last year model had 1 LED flash. This year the M8 has got 2 LED flash lights, just to give a bit more natural tone to your photos. So putting these phones aside next to each other, it's all on your personal preference. I mean, you have the plastic construction on one side, and then you have the metal construction on the other side, on the HTC One M8. My preference, to be honest, is the metallic HTC One M8, because it feels more premium, it feels more solidly built, and it's crafted beautifully. I mean, me personally, when I want to hold a phone in my hands, I want to make sure that I feel good about it. That's the first thing. A phone has to wow me before I go for a phone. So I would prefer the HTC One's metallic build construction. When it comes to screen, I think I would prefer the screen on the LG G2. Reason being, like I said to you earlier, the G2 screen is almost edge to edge, which is, I think, a big thing in mobile technology. No other vendor has so far been able to make a screen as beautiful as the one on LG G2. I mean, I simply love the fact that this phone has a beautiful edge-to-edge screen. Once you open it up, you can see it clearly now. It is just awesome. The screen on the HTC One M8 is not bad as well. I think the double tap feature does not work properly when the phone is actually resting on a surface, but the moment you hold it in your hand, it works straight away. I think this is something which HTC probably has done intentionally, so that when people hold the phone in their hand, then the gesture control works more accurately. Whereas on the LG, it still works even if the phone is on a surface. Anyways, so getting back to the screens, I personally think that screen on the G2 is far much better than the one on, not in terms of clarity, but in terms of the pure looks. The screen on the G2 is just simply amazing. It's edge to edge, and I still think that HTC cannot beat the edge to edge technology that LG has used. In terms of performance, I think both the phones are pretty much same in performance. The HTC One is quick as well. You're going through the menus to the main home screen, there's no lag. Same goes for the LG G2 as well. There is no lag on the phone. The phone is quick to respond. Everything just moves smoothly. Whatever you open up, it opens up very quickly. It doesn't take long. Same goes with the HTC One M8 as well. Everything is quick. Whether you pinch to zoom, open apps, open widgets, everything is just quick to open up, So it's not too bad. Everything is working perfectly fine, same as on the G2. So if you get either of these phones, none of the phones are going to give you trouble in terms of performance. Performance is absolutely fantastic on both the phones. Okay, when it comes to sound, obviously there's one clear winner, as we know. It is the HTC One M8. The boom sound speakers are absolutely brilliant on the HTC One. They have got world-class, best-in-class sound coming from any phone. The G2 simply cannot beat the speakers. The speaker on the G2 is right there at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that in the video. Whereas the speakers on the HTC One M8 are right at the front. This is the bottom speaker, and that's the top speaker there. In terms of camera, I think I would go for both of them. I know I sound funny because they both have their own pros and cons. When it comes to focusing, the HTC One really focuses really quick and taking a picture. It takes about 0.3 of a second before it captures a photo, whereas the G2, even though LG claimed they have optical image stabilization in the phone, it still doesn't work as good as I would have liked. It takes a bit longer than the HTC, a good couple of seconds, and you have to rely on a steadier hand rather than optical image stabilization for you to get clear pictures. So but once you have focused it with G2, then the picture quality is amazing, because obviously it's 13 megapixel, whereas this one is only 4 megapixel, so there's no comparison in terms of pixels. When it comes to battery life, the battery life on both phones is extremely good. For the first time in an HTC phone, I've seen the phone actually doesn't lose or drain out on standby or on normal use mode. HTC always had issues with their battery in the past. I've had so many HTC phones, the HTC One X, the One X Plus, even the HTC One M7 from last year. They all had battery issues, and battery was draining a lot, whether you were using it in standby mode or normal mode. But this time around, the HTC have optimized their software beautifully. They have obviously an efficient Snapdragon 801 chipset along with 2 GB of RAM, so that helps in conserving the battery, and the battery life on this phone is good. It will last you a day very easily with normal moderate use. The battery on the G2 is one thing which I fell in love with straight away as soon as I got the phone. This phone has an exceptional battery life. I mean, ever since I've taken my SIM out of my G2 and put it back on my HTC, I haven't touched the phone much. I've not played with the phone much, and it's been pretty much on standby. And if I go on the battery type settings here, I'll show you how long the battery has been on battery. As you can see here, the phone has got 98% battery still left, and it's been on standby since last night, and 15 hours and 54 minutes. I mean, this is pretty amazing. Even though I've played with the phone a little bit, I haven't really done much with it, but still, on standby mode, to give you like 15, almost 16 hours with just losing 2% is simply awesome. This phone even beats the Galaxy Note 3 in battery. I mean, if you go on websites and you read the reviews, you will see that all the tech reviews have praised this phone's battery a lot. I personally think this phone has one of the best batteries in the Android world. If you're someone who loves battery life, you want to use your phone all day with WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, taking pictures and stuff, then G2 is going to be your best buddy. This phone, you can take it off in the morning, and by the time you come back in the evening at home after a long day's work, the phone still will have a good 40% odd left in it. The HTC One, on the other hand, has also got a very decent battery life. It's not too bad. With moderate heavy use, it will also last you a day. It's been regularly giving me a good decent amount of usage. Like for instance, right now, I took the phone off charge last night. It's down to 61%, but in saying that, I've been using the phone a lot as well. So let's go back into settings, go back into power mode. This is where we can read the battery stats. Let's go right at the bottom on history. Here you can see the graph. It's got I've been using the phone for 10 hours and 8 minutes, and the battery is still down, already gone down to 61%. So the battery is not even drained halfway yet. It hasn't even gone down halfway yet, not even gone down to 50%, and still you have 61% battery left. And as you can see, the screen on time and the amount of times the screen has been woken and you can been awake, and you can see that I've been constantly using it ever since even before 6 a.m. this morning. The phone has been constantly in use, along with Wi-Fi on, switched on throughout the day, and it's given me a good 10 hours of usage with 61% battery still left. That means it can give me another 10 hours on top by the time it completely drains out, or it goes down to about 10%. So like I said, the battery on this phone is also very, very good, not too bad. But the battery on the G2 is, I think, at another level. It is exceptionally well, even better than the HTC One M8. It doesn't matter which phone you go for. Either of these phones have superb battery life, and they will last you a day very, very easily. So there you have it. This was a quick comparison between the HTC One and the LG G2. If you have any questions, please do ask in the comments section. Do subscribe and do like the video. I'll be more than happy to oblige if you have any questions related to the video. Thanks for watching, guys.